She chose him, not because he was more accomplished, not because he was more available, not because he worked harder for her attention. She chose him because of something she could not explain and would not try to, something she felt in his body language before he ever opened his mouth. And if you have ever watched that happen from the wrong side of it, doing everything correctly, being everything you were told to be, you already know the particular ache I am about to name. Today, I am covering 5 signals hidden inside a woman's posture and physical presence, things she communicates about her desire without once choosing to. The 4th one is the signal I almost left out of this video entirely. Stay with me, because it changes everything you think you know about what she is actually showing you. Here is what nobody says out loud about the man who does everything right. He shows up. He plans. He remembers. He is patient with her silence and generous with his attention. And at the end of all of it, the good morning texts, the thoughtful gestures, the careful space he gave her because he read that she needed it, she is with someone who appeared to offer none of those things. And the wound is not the rejection. The wound is the confusion. Because he was not careless. He was not unkind. He was operating with genuine care and a completely wrong map. And no one ever told him the map was wrong. That is not a failure of character. That is an informational gap. And that distinction matters more than anything else I am going to say today. Dr. Helen Fisher at Rutgers University spent years studying the neuroimaging patterns of people in early romantic love, and what her research revealed was this. The dopaminergic reward circuits that drive deep attraction are not activated by consistency alone. They are activated by something older and less rational. The nervous system of a woman who has learned through accumulated experience to be careful with herself does not open in response to effort. It opens in response to evidence, specific, physical, embodied evidence that arrives before language, before conversation, before the first date even ends. Her prefrontal cortex may tell her she should feel something based on his resume of good behavior, but her amygdala is reading something else entirely. It is reading his body. Signal 1 is what I call the anchored gaze. This is not eye contact in the conventional sense, the self-conscious, effortful holding of someone's eyes to demonstrate that you are paying attention. The anchored gaze is something entirely different. It is what happens when a man looks at a woman and she can feel that his attention has weight, that he is not scanning, not managing her impression of him, not calculating his next sentence. He is simply there, looking at her, and his presence in that look is so complete that it quiets something in her chest she did not realize was running. Oxytocin, the bonding neurochemical that underpins every experience of felt safety and adult attachment, begins to release not through touch but through the perception of genuine attunement. She does not need you to say the right thing in that moment. She needs to feel that you are actually seeing her. And the woman I am describing here, the one in her 30s, her 40s, who has been capable in every room she has ever entered, who has managed everything and everyone without once being asked if she needed help. She has been looked at her entire life. She has rarely been seen. The anchored gaze tells her nervous system something it has been quietly waiting to hear. But this only reaches its full power when you understand what comes next. Because without it, everything you just absorbed can quietly work against you in the exact moment it matters most. Signal 2 is the unshaken frame. She will test it, not because she is playing a game, because she is intelligent and she has been hurt by her own optimism before, and her nervous system will not allow her to simply feel drawn to someone without first checking whether that pull is safe to follow. The test looks like this. She goes quiet when you expected warmth. She becomes slightly difficult when you anticipated ease. She pulls back precisely at the moment connection was building. And what she is watching for, without naming it, is whether you contract, whether you chase, whether your body language shifts from calm to anxious in the space of her silence. The unshaken frame means your posture, your eye contact, your rhythm of speech, none of it changes when she creates distance. You are not performing indifference. You are genuinely, biologically regulated. Your nervous system is not destabilized by hers. And to a woman who has spent years co-regulating everyone around her, who has held herself together in rooms where she was the only one doing it. A man whose nervous system stays steady when hers is testing is not just attractive. He is revelatory. Signal 3 is the resonant silence. Here is what she cannot ask for directly, because asking would mean admitting she needs it, and she has learned at cost that needing something is not always safe. The resonant silence is your comfort with pause, not the silence of a man who has run out of things to say. The silence of a man who does not require the space between them to be filled in order to feel secure. Cortisol, the stress hormone, spikes in social situations where silence feels like failure, and she can feel that spike in another person's body before they ever acknowledge it. The man who rushes to fill every pause is telling her nervous system something he does not intend to communicate. He is uncomfortable. He needs her reassurance. And the woman who has been giving reassurance her entire life, to her family, her career, the relationships that asked more than they gave, she does not have the capacity to carry that too. Your silence, when it is genuinely comfortable, is one of the most powerful signals of emotional regulation you can offer. It tells her she does not have to manage this one. I didn't want him to fix it. I didn't even want him to understand it completely. I just wanted him to stay in the room while I was in it, and not need anything from me while he was there. That is the thing she will not say directly. That is what she means when she goes quiet and watches what you do next. Signal 4 is the one I almost did not include, and I want you to be prepared for it before I name it, because it is the one that most men are doing wrong with the best possible intentions, and it is costing them exactly what they are trying to build. I call it the sovereign pause. It is the moment before you respond to her, not a strategic hesitation, a genuine, unhurried, natural pause that communicates your thoughts have weight before they arrive. When a man responds to everything immediately, matching her pace, filling every gap, her nervous system reads speed as anxiety, as the absence of considered thought. The sovereign pause is the physical evidence that you exist inside your own mind rather than inside her reaction to you. And for the mature woman, the self-sufficient woman, the one who has spent years in relationships where she was the most emotionally present person in the room, a man who lives inside himself rather than inside her approval is not distant. He is the most attractive thing she has encountered in longer than she wants to say out loud. The next signal either activates this completely or reveals the one place this principle breaks down in a way most men never recover from. Signal 5 is the deliberate stillness. And this is the part that makes people uncomfortable, because it asks something most men have never been asked to practice. Stillness is not passivity. Stillness is the physical evidence of a nervous system that does not need external movement to feel alive. She notices, and I mean she notices at the level of her brainstem, below conscious awareness, whether your body is at rest when nothing is being demanded of it, whether your hands are still, whether your weight is settled, whether you are in your body or hovering just above it in a state of low-grade vigilance that most people carry everywhere without knowing it. The woman who has her own walls, her own armor, her own history of reading rooms and exits, and the weight of other people's emotional states. She has been in a state of low-grade vigilance her entire adult life. And when she sits across from a man whose body is genuinely at rest, something in her own nervous system responds to it the way the body responds to the first real exhale after holding its breath. Dr. Sue Johnson at the University of Ottawa, whose work on emotionally focused therapy redefined how we understand adult attachment, documented something that sits at the center of everything I have said today. She found that what a woman's attachment system is listening for, underneath all language, all performance, all effort, is two specific things: emotional accessibility and responsiveness, not the performance of those things, the embodied physical nervous system level presence of them. When her primal attachment system registers both, it does something that her mind cannot override and that no amount of accumulated caution can hold back. It releases. Not because she has decided to trust, because her body has received the evidence it was designed to look for, because something below language has told her that this man, specifically, is a place where she does not have to be ready to catch herself, where she does not have to hold the floor up, where she can, for the first time in longer than she would admit, simply feel something without first calculating what it will cost her if she does. That is what her posture is revealing. That is the conversation her body is having with yours before either of you says a word. She is not hiding her desire from you on purpose. She is waiting for evidence that it is safe to stop hiding it. And the man who understands these 5 signals, who has absorbed not just what to do, but why it works at the level of her actual neurology, her actual attachment history, her actual lived experience of being a capable woman in a world that has always taken her capability for granted. That man is not the most impressive candidate in the room. He is the one she cannot stop thinking about, because he understood something the others never bothered to learn.